We are now just 122 days away from the official release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to answer many different questions from The Force Awakens that were not answered in The Last Jedi, and that J.J. Abrams is using this to his own advantage in order to really introduce new aspects of the Star Wars franchise that fans have never seen before in the Star Wars film's history. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that these past couple of weeks or so we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of Rey traveling into the Lost City, where it's explained that she is on a mission to discovering many pieces of Jedi and Sith lore to create a new order while keeping historical accuracy of the dark and the light side of the Force. It's explained that she eventually reaches a place called the Land of the Forbidden, a place full of ancient Sith ruins and artifacts. It's explained that she begins to hear the voices of the Sith Wraiths trapped inside of the spiritual realm, and that Rey begins to have a strange connection to the Sith, since she is holding an ancient artifact that is linked to the Beyond, which is what's said to power the spiritual realm. It's explained that one of the scenes features a moment in which Rey comes across the statue of the first Sith, and holds the first Sith Kyber crystal, where she begins to hear more voices of the Sith Wraiths inside of the spiritual realm. It's described to be a very dark and gritty scene for the film by director J.J. Abrams, where Rey begins to learn new truths about the origins of the dark side and the secrets of its power. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9 is going to give us new types of Jedi, Sith, and Force lore that's really going to benefit many of the main characters, such as Rey and Kylo Ren. And what I love so much about this is that Rey is having a very unfamiliar and strange connection to the Sith as she travels through the Land of the Forbidden. Now, in case you guys are out of the loop, the Land of the Forbidden is the other half of the Lost City, where you have, of course, the ancient Sith ruins, the artifacts, the structures, and everything around those lines that have actually been standing ever since before the Jedi and the Sith had a struggle against each other. And what I love so much about this is that she's actually said to actually be holding an ancient artifact in her hand as she walks through the Land of the Forbidden location, which is what causes her to have a strange connection to the Sith themselves, where she hears voices of the Sith Wraiths trapped inside of the spiritual realm, reaching out to Rey because she does indeed hold a dark side presence that is dormant within her. Hence why she heard a dark side voice speaking to Rey, if you guys read the Force Awakens novelization, telling her to kill Kylo Ren, which most likely was Palpatine. So with that being said, we do know that this particular scene is said to be very dark and gritty, and very much a moment in which Rey is on a path to learning more about the dark side and the Sith themselves in order to really keep historical accuracy about her new order that she's actually building towards. And if you guys actually watch the teaser trailer, it actually does, Luke Skywalker's voice alludes to all of this, of how 1,000 generations live in her now, and how she's building towards something larger. So what I like so much about Episode 9 so far is that it is going to be very heavy on the Jedi, Sith, and Force lore that's really going to evolve the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren. In case you guys did not know, Kylo Ren's adventure is basically an inversion, a parallel, if you will, of what Rey goes through in the second act, where Rey goes to the Lost City, and Kylo Ren goes to the Dark Spire, and the Shrines of the Sith location. And that's what I love so much about this film, is that there will be a parallel between both Rey and Kylo and their adventures in, of course, the second act, where a lot of their Force bonds will take place once more. So on top of all of this, alright, the Sith spirits that are officially called Sith Wraiths in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. Very interesting about J.J. Abrams here, adding in a different dynamic, a different medium of the franchise, if you will. Before The Rise of Skywalker, there were only Force ghosts, and now in The Rise of Skywalker, there are going to be Sith Wraiths. So, the Sith spirits that are reaching out to Rey, the main reasons as to why they are able to do this is because the Land of the Forbidden holds a connection to the Beyond. The Beyond is what powers the spiritual realm. So you can see all the connections decisions that are in fact being made in episode 9 by JJ, George, and Chris Terrio, and what they're truly trying to accomplish with this movie. Now, the last piece that I really want to go over quick is, of course, the statues of course, the ancient Sith, one of which is said to be the statue of the first Sith, where Rey begins to hold the first kyber crystal of the first Sith Lord. Now, what I like about that is that she begins to hear more voices of the ancient Sith reaching out to her as she holds this kyber crystal in her hand as it levitates over her palm. And what I like about that is that it's very much in tune with what they did in Star Wars Legends and everything around those lines. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.